James! James, are you serious? It's freezing out here. It's like 72 degrees. Give me a break. It's California. You gotta wake up. We have the interview show today, you know, playwright Jessica Wong and the cast of The Vandal. I never saw that. Come on, James. God, it's so cold. Wake up.
It's a new day filled with possibilities, a chance encounter today. The chance to tell you all about my favorite things, musicals and plays. You wanna meet me outside, but I'm spending my time rehearsing 12 hours a day. I don't have stock options or a 401k, but there's nowhere that I'd rather stay than theater today. It's a new day filled with opportunities to play pretend on the stage. Hey, folks, wish we could hug.
Not today.
Hopefully someday. While there's sunshine outside, I'd rather spend all my time in darkness rehearsing my death, or something equally sad, repeating for hours, cue after cue. There's nothing that I'd rather do than theater with you. Than theater with you. Than theater with you. It's true, I love theater with you. Happy New Year, and welcome back to Chance Encounters. I am your host, James Michael McHale, and this show is all about celebrating theater, the long lines for the bathroom, seeing an actor just make that quick change in time to hit that high note, and in particular, my home theater, The Chance, which is why the show is called Chance Encounters. The new year. This is a time we have to remember all of the encounters last year brought us, and stop to reflect on all the things we have a chance to change with resolutions. Do you have any resolutions for the new year?
No.
You don't want to take this opportunity to improve who you are at the core?
No.
Seize this one and only chance on this earth to look ahead.
No.
I agree. I think I'm great just the way I am.
Oh, wait. We were talking about you? Well, then
Moving on. Each show, we celebrate our favorite theater traditions, interview artists from productions of yesterday, and end each show with a performance of a classic monologue to remind us that to know where we are going, we must remember from whence we have come from. I can't wait. Today, I'm very excited to be talking with the 2019 resident playwright Jessica Wong and the team from the West Coast premiere of The Vandal.
I never saw it.
But first, as always, let's start with two of my favorite theater traditions, sign in, check in. And now, check-in. This is our moment to be seen and heard by the ensemble. Today, we have a great game called Name Toss. This is a great way to learn the names of the members of all the ensemble and show respect to them by gifting them their name. You say your name and then make eye contact with the person you are throwing it to and then gift that person with their name. They receive your gift in the form of the ball and then gift it back by saying your name as a gift. All right. James, Amanda. Medication makes you feel better. Write some postcards.
I miss you. Chance Theater set / prop / costume storage / rehearsal space. Your incredibly convenient catch-all ability, the open space in your roof to allow pigeons to visit, the way you make what would be a wide-open warehouse big enough for IKEA feel intimate and remind me of The Walking Dead or any number of apocalyptic stories. Wish you were here. I miss you. Chance Theater impressively powerful air conditioning. I love how I can enter from the Southern California sunshine and when I sit down, be instantly transported to a frozen wonderland. The way you turn 2 seats in the back row into VIP immersive winter experiences? Your touchscreen that is so advanced, only our technical director can master it no matter how many times anyone else tries. And no matter what temperature you're set at, your commitment to just keep boldly blowing an icy bombardment. Wish you were here. I miss you. Chance Theater actor's entrance door. The way you always allow sunlight to stream onto the set during matinees, taking the guesswork out of where the next entrance is coming from. Your assertive bang when you close during the most intimate of scenes. The sound of the street and sirens that you generously allow to spill through your most permeable structure. And your beautiful timing of magically becoming locked right when I need to make a quick entrance. Wish you were here.
Did you just do a bit with a voiceover?
Not at all.
Now let's get to today's first interview.
I'm in outer space.
Hey all! So
Hey.
excited to chat with you today. So congratulations, the show received a Better Lemons Award for Show of the Year for 2019, so congratulations on that. So excited to talk some Vandal. Something like
So
that.
I'm assuming Amanda's with you, yes, James? Amanda, are you? Hello? Amanda.
Oh my god, hi Carrie. No, I don't know you. I never did the van. No, I don't acting. Blech.
What is one word that you think of when it comes to the show?
Layered. It was very, very layered. It was the type of show that seemed like it was going to be one thing, and when we got into rehearsal, it just all of a sudden it was layer upon layer upon layer, and it got a little bit annoying because it got extraordinarily layered, and at some point it was going to be like, hey, are we gonna put this thing together and show it to people at some point? Because we got to stop discovering new things every week.
You really are captivated. You really want to know
about these people. You're not exactly sure who's telling the truth. It's like a bait and switch, and then you're thinking, wait, it's a ghost story? No. It's a love story? No. It's a family story. You know, just layers, as Rob said.
The word heart, I think about the heart in these characters, and it is a creepy mystery and funny and all those things, but it really comes down to what these three characters have in their hearts and what they're trying to solve and fix the broken hearts that are there a little bit, from things that they have to overcome, and what their heart needs to fulfill. And then I think about the cast, and I think about the big hearts that everybody had to get it right and for each other, and I just love the cast, and I just think they had such big hearts. So that's what I think of when I think of the play.
I love that. Rob and Sam. So first of all, congratulations. Both of you received Robbie nominations for acting for the show. Incredible. I'd love to hear what you first connected to with your characters.
I think I connected with his isolation the most. So I guess attaching to the heartbreak was the first thing that drew me to him. And also just I thought he was incredibly funny. Like everything that he said just made me laugh. And it reminded me of as soon as I read it, it reminded me of a kid that I had gone to high school with that also passed away far too soon. And I remember thinking about that and just immediately like, oh, that's this kid. He's so exactly like him, everything that he does. And so in a way, it kind of, I guess, mended things for me a little bit. And I was just able to connect with him because it felt like I knew him. It felt like I was his friend.
Elizabeth, I'd love to hear what your approach was to this piece. How did you want to explore this world? What story did you want to tell through your design?
One of the first questions I had for Carrie is, what season is it? Because it's a story about coats. It's a story about coats. It's a story about coats, and it's a story about cold. But, I did not grow up in Southern California. I grew up where there were coats, and there's an importance in coats. Like when my friends in Manhattan, when they, after college moved to Manhattan, have like an extraordinarily expensive coat, or what felt extraordinarily expensive, and you're thinking, why is that? And when my friend explained, it's all I have. It's what people see me in the most. This is what I have. And Amanda's character is trying to rebuild in some way. So what is that for her? And actually, like where Carrie and I had started, and then what Amanda brought in was really interesting. Her coat was not as nice. I did very strange things to that coat, including integrating briar lint into the coat. I did. Telling the stage managers, I was like, never delint this coat. This coat has been pre-linted.
Is there a moment that was your least favorite moment to have to do on repeat?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Sam hates Doritos and chips. He does not like chips.
I hate Doritos. I hate chips. They taste disgusting to me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
I never knew that. I love the Dorito monologue.
Like that is the grossest food to me. Like of all time. So disgusting. Like the dust. That was my least favorite part. But I loved seeing the monologue. The monologue is one of my favorite things I've ever said in my life in terms of like a thing. But I hated the actual action of putting it in my mouth. And, by the end of the run, not half bad.
Doritos won you over by the end?
No, absolutely not. I haven't touched them since. The last Dorito I ate, I was like, thank God I never have to eat that again.
It's like the chip are life. The flavor dust are dreams. The fingers reality. They mush together, and then the mouth is like death.
Do you like those chips?
Very nice, Sam.
I had to love them. That's why they gave me the award. Really.
Carrie, I'd love to hear more about what you wanted us as an audience to walk away with.
It was important for me for the audience to not question what's going on. I needed them to really get the story and then have an opinion about the story. So like, that's what was so great in previews is I think the first preview, the audience was not clear just on the story. And I was like, oh no, oh no, they're confused and they're questioning. And I was like, oh, we have more work to do. I had to really figure out where the twist happens, because there is a twist, but like where do I really think they need to discover that the most, and how does that twist make them feel? How should they feel at that point? So to me, that was what I was trying to do the most, is get the story as clear as possible in the way that we saw it, so that the audience wasn't questioning what happened. But they get what happens, and then they can start to then think about the deeper layers and meanings of what the playwright's trying to say with that narrative. So for me, it's like, can I get the audience to take away some ideas about what happens after we die, or how do we cope with loss? How do we deal with the truth or not having the truth? You know, these are all important themes, but it's like, I don't know if the audience can start to have feelings about those if they're confused about what's happening in front of them.
When we came out of previews and realized that the audience wasn't getting everything that they needed to get, in the hands of a lesser director, it would have been a shipwreck. But Carrie absolutely, for me, got this together and came in and was like, okay, we got work to do, but I know what we're going to do, and here's how we're going to, and it's like fixed it, and was able to take whatever those moments were that we were missing and tightened them up instantly.
So on top of everything Rob said, the fact that how she was able to kind of steer us all in the right direction. I remember it was opening night, and I was sitting there. Carrie was, talking to people, everything. And she leaned in to me and was like, basically just told me just to go, essentially, that it was going to be okay and not to really think about everything. And that she trusted this character and she trusted my process, what she said. She trusted everything that I had done up until that point. And that whatever was going to happen, don't think too much about this or that, just do it. And so we had all of this other stuff that we had to constantly be thinking about pulling strings and making sure that this matched with this matched, and all this other stuff that we had that accumulated to a giant snowball that was this play. Right. But we also had this enormous trust from her. So that, to me, is the reason why this show was such a success.
How about this? Was there any notes that you had to give like over and over again?
Tracking of the beers and what was drunk and not drunk was very, like, it flustered all of us.
And the beers were ginger ale, and I'm supposed to like really kind of chug the one and kind of like sip on the other one, and I'm like putting the one back as best I can. And I'll tell you, for about the first 3 weeks of the run, Amanda had this one monologue, and I burped through the whole thing. It was just a low, nobody heard it, but it was just, I just chugged 2 carbonated sodas, and she's just like going on her monologue, and I'm like, through like a good minute and a half, solid.
Sorry, I got a little tipsy.
Tipsy?
Buzzed, whatever, a little buzz.
2 beers?
So we end all of our interviews with this question. What unexpected experience did you have in The Vandal that is having a lasting impact on you?
I did not expect the play to be as deep as it was, or to tug at my heartstrings as much as it did and still does.
I had experienced a great deal of loss in about the year and a half or so kind of leading up to this play. And one of the takeaways from this was just, I think it was one of those things that actually helped me to be able to process some of those feelings and some of the stuff that I was kind of going through and dealing with.
It prepared me for the loss that I would experience. in my personal life. You know, I have now reached that age where people in my family are passing away. And so this play emotionally prepared me for, I mean, I still have, you still have to work through it and do it all in your own time, but it kind of put death, at least for me, in perspective. And I'm eternally grateful.
It was nice to just show up at the theater. It was just such a good cast. And Leah and JP, our stage manager and stuff, it was just really, yeah, I didn't want to say goodbye to everybody.
Some other ways to engage with the Chance Theater online are Some Good News OC, Chance Cyber Chats, and witness the camaraderie between new and returning veterans with the Veterans Speak Up program. The successful 2020 performance is now available for viewing, as is all of our online content at chancetheater.com. Really need to say .com still? I mean, we're not one of those lame @me email people.
As we close the book on last year, we thought we'd do something a little different today. So instead of director's notes, let's celebrate theater artists' tradition of ending a show with closing night notes. A sad time when we must say goodbye to the family and friends we have made with the cast and crew, and try to capture the fleeting time by writing heartfelt notes to each other. Here's but a sampling of closing night notes, read to you by members of the Chance family.
Daryl, what is there to say? You are brave and you have really touched me with your work. We're family now, and I can't wait to see how our friendship blossoms and grows. Love, Jonah. I have no idea who that is.
Robin, thanks for being willing to do all the work that no one sees. The way you build the set with so much thoughtfulness and made sure that everyone was safe. I knew I could do my best work because the stage was made with love. Daniel. I was the music director.
Your leadership both on and off stage is unmatched. Your strength and wit are to be admired, and I one day wish to be as brave as you. Thank you for giving me a shot and casting me in Skylight. Oh, shoot. This is for on?
Oh. Well, before we leave the segment, it appears that I will be breaking with tradition and contributing myself. James, I really enjoy doing the show with you and think you are my bestest friend. I want to keep this anonymous, but I work with you on Chance Encounters.
Stop it.
Your positive spirit makes me want to become light and Vesperous.
That is not even a word.
I will never forget this time we are spending together.
So, wait, does this mean that you got me a car?
And now it's time for a conversation with 2019 resident playwright Jessica Huang. A chance to hear how her career has been growing since her time at the Chance. Plante de vivre. Hello. Hi, Jessica. So good to see you.
Hi, it's good to see you. We miss you.
Oh, we miss you too. I just saw some news recently. It was just announced that you were one of 13 finalists for the 2021 Page 73 Playwriting Fellowship, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Can you tell me a little bit about that and that process? And that comes with like that's a very prestigious award.
I was part of their writing group in 2019, and they're just so wonderful and intentional about new work development, and helped me move through a few of my plays during that time. So it's really nice to be considered by them and to stay sort of connected to that group of people. They're really special.
That's awesome and well earned, I'm sure. Back in 2019, we were very fortunate, of course, to work with you on your play Mother of Exiles. That was such a pleasure. And then it's gone on to some pretty amazing development opportunities since, right? At the Old Globe, and then New York Stage and Film, and then this year, very recently, you had readings at the Playwright Center as part of their Play Lab Festival, and then the National New Play Network, right, as part of their 2020 showcase. So congratulations on all of those readings and development process. What's that experience been like for you?
Oh, that has been really incredible. That play is so special to me, and it comes with such a connection to, I mean, it's, as you know, it's not about my family in any way, but it comes out of conversations with my family and connection to my ancestors in new ways, and that sort of inspired it. And so it feels like a very special, sort of heart project, and so then when it's getting love, that feels really good. I've been realizing that it takes me a couple times through a play before I really know the characters. It also takes finding the right actor. I have a lot of playwright friends who come to playwriting, through acting, who are actors first. And I really wasn't. I did some, bad high school theater, but
did we all?
But I'm, I come as through journalism, and then as a reader of novels, and that I think that has also been part of the journey of this play, because the play it asks a lot of its actors, and so finding the right person for each of those parts, that has been the key, and then you can just feel it click. And then suddenly all the stuff that doesn't make any sense, that the character says that's just me, typing stupid stuff by myself, all that is loud and clear, and then I can get rid of it and write what the character actually says. But it comes from these deep collaborations. And I think that play really has benefited from all of these opportunities to meet all of these wonderful artists. Each discovery sort of pushes it further toward what I think it ultimately will be. And these recent development processes happened, now during this COVID time. So I had more, space to be present with some of that. So I think I did really, I don't know. I was going to say, I think I did really good work, but at the same time, it's very hard to know if that's true, because I couldn't hear an audience watch it, which, is the real ultimate test. So the audience of me was very happy. We'll see how it lives with an audience of more than just me.
I loved it. I feel like that play, I loved that play when I first read it, and I loved the reading that we did at the Chance, but getting to see it after a little more than a year later, yeah. And I was like, oh, there's some new things in here, or some things are just landing a little bit differently, and I was so thoroughly engaged and just loved it.
Oh.
Some other news from this year was that you were part of the inaugural Four Seasons residency, right?
Yeah.
How has that been?
It's been good. It was as it was intended. Started in 2020, in January 2020, and I was to spend one season in each of these beautiful places. And I spent one season in a beautiful place, and then 3 seasons in a beautiful place on my computer.
So where was the first season that you actually got to go to?
The first season was the winter playwrights retreat, and I wound up going to St. Joseph, Missouri, and I was working on this musical I'm working on about the Kim Lu sisters, who are this girl group from the 30s and 40s, and a Chinese Polish American girl group from the 30s and 40s that did were doing vaudeville, and then they went to Broadway and they were in the Scandals on Broadway, and then they made some films and toured the USO, and then it has sort of fallen away from our collective history. So hopefully this musical will revive them a bit.
Cool.
But they performed at so a lot of those vaudeville houses were converted then into movie theaters or into theaters. And there's this old Missouri theater in St. Joseph where these sisters had performed.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't know that, but I was working on this musical about them and then walking through this theater where they most certainly did perform. And
Wow.
that was pretty extraordinary.
That is so cool. What was that pretty inspiring place to be able to sit in there and kind of take in this is where this happened?
Yeah, they were so kind and let me write in the theater, and so I wrote a scene in the dressing room.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. That is so fun. So we end all our interviews with this question. A chance encounter is a fortuitous accident. So what unexpected experience have you had recently that is having a lasting impact on you?
My gut instinct is to say that the 4 months that I spent with my parents as an adult, I think that would be the answer, because I knew my parents as my parents, and grew up with them obviously, and then hadn't lived with them for a very long time. And then living with my parents, with my husband, they didn't have a huge house, but they opened it up to us and our animals and everything that comes with us. And I just got to know, we all got to know each other as people, not as people in the roles of our family. And it was so fun to see Ricardo bonding with my parents on his own accord, and we deepened our relationship so much, to the point where now, we have inside jokes, and we have Christmas shopping is so fun now, because it's not just what do I get my mom? It's what do I get this person that I just spent 4 months with and I know so much about now in a new way, and in an adult way, so I think that was such a gift that continues to play out. Yeah, that just continues to play out. I don't know if that was a chance encounter, because it was a 4-month chance encounter.
Without, one of those beautiful silver linings of what's happened this year, and you being in Minnesota and then quarantining there for that amount of time, you wouldn't have spent that amount of time with them, right? If this year hadn't happened, right?
Yeah, and we went through something together and strategized together, and had, protected each other, and I think it has had a lasting impact. For sure, no question.
Incredible news! Season 23 is coming! Although we don't yet know when live in-person theatrical performances will return, our schedule of shows is proceeding, whether it means you'll be watching the shows at the Chance or a virtual performance at home. So without further ado, here is the season of 5 shows. We will begin our season with the OC premiere of The Story of My Life. This richly melodic musical is a soaring tribute to the power of friendship and the people who change our lives forever. Next, the OC premiere of the Pulitzer Prize-winning drama Sweat tells the story of friendship shared through work, drinks, and laughter, struggling to survive while economic and social forces seek to divide and conquer. This summer will feature the OC premiere of Edges. This coming-of-age story of young adults finding their identity and place in the world is the first musical written by the dynamic duo behind Dear Evan Hansen and The Greatest Showman. This fall, we will present another OC premiere with the Pulitzer finalist Yellow Man, a play exquisitely exploring the challenges of overcoming racism, class, biases, and prejudices inherited both from community and from family. And finally, we close our season with Striking 12, filled with wit, emotion, and mesmerizing musicianship. This uplifting musical is a celebration of rediscovering and reconnecting to the true spirit of the holidays. We are so excited to share this season with you. Visit chancetheater.com to learn more and sign up for a year of compelling contemporary theater.
Since it is a new year, we all get a fresh start and get to do things right. Give things the time and gravitas that they deserve. This segment, our most important segment, will finally get a chance to shine. And shine it will. Here, finally, in all its perfection, is a classic monologue play.
Because it is my name.
Here's our ghost light. A bare bowl. A light in the darkness, even when no one is there. So while the Chance Theater is empty, for now, we hope, in some small way, we can be that light for you. Until we're able to see you on our stages again, bye for now. And don't forget, we have plans to meet later. Let's hope before then for a chance encounter.
James, can we please get out of your bathroom now?
Get out of your bathroom now. Get
No,
out of
get
your
out of your
bathroom
bathroom
now.
now.
Get out of your bathroom now.
Stop
Get out of your bathroom
misering
now.
with me.
Get out of your bathroom now.
No.